Welcome back to Shopsicle Garage. On today's video, we're going to get this transmission put in the car, hopefully. But for some reason, audio did not work on this video, so I apologize. We're going to use some voiceover for a minute, and then we'll probably skip through a whole bunch of stuff, because why not? Anyway, in the beginning here, I was explaining the history with the transmission in the car. I've had the car for 20 years. We rebuilt the engine in it, drove around for a little bit, and then parked it 18 years ago due to a bad transmission. I had one sent with a friend to IROC-Z Clone, which we rebuilt. It was rebuilt. Okay, I don't know where I was. I got interrupted by a text message. Anyway, I paid $35 or so for a shift kit, sent it with a friend to school. He rebuilt it at IROC-Z under the professor's supervision, came back home, put it in, and it didn't work. Not sure what happened there, what went wrong. We got frustrated with it, pulled it out, and I think I put the original one back in temporarily. Called a shop, and they wanted $1,500 to rebuild it. I was not about to pay that at that time because I just didn't have the money. So, the car ended up parked in the barn for 18 years, and then we drug it out a couple months ago, try to fix it up and take it on Hot Rod Power Tour. So, I bought another transmission on Facebook Marketplace for $400. Thought I was getting a great deal to get that in going. Got it home, took it apart to check out the filter and see what the pan looked like. Change the gasket and the filter, and then discovered a bunch of metal in the pan. So called around and found a shop, tried to rebuild it. He wanted $2,500 to rebuild it. Told me everything was unobtainable, hard to get parts, and parts were extremely expensive. Told me I would have to use the other three I had sitting around here that were also no good for parts for him, so he would be able to even have the parts he needed to rebuild it. So I assume that's the I don't want to do it price. So I kept looking around some more, and I found this one here in the video in Michigan at a transmission shop called Unlimited Transmissions, already rebuilt, ready to go for $1,200. So I took 3 of my 4 that did not work to get some money back from them, and got a good deal on this from them. So that's what I'm going to do in this video, is put it in. Again, sorry the audio didn't work. Not sure what happened, but none of the clips have audio. So I'll probably just start speeding stuff up and cutting stuff out and making the video really short, even though it was longer. Now, in this little segment I was showing, I got the new shift pawl thingamajig on there. I got the tail shaft housing put on, and then I got the new not new, gee, make Christmas. Got the cross member set up, ready to go, with some new bushings from Energy Suspension, and we got the red ones. Because I was saying, red means fast, but actually, red means stop, so hopefully that's not a problem. Alright, now I started putting transmission fluid into the torque converter. You definitely don't want to start a car with a dry torque converter. It will not be good. So I put in a Super Tech transmission fluid because it's super. Or, it's just what was closest to me and ready to go. So I want to fill that up. You don't need to watch it. Just want to make sure you know that I did it. Now we have the torque converter going in. Make sure you get all the way into pump. And now we got you a good view of what's happening as I raise up the transmission to get it into place. So I went up into place really easily. It took me a total of about 7 minutes here to get it up and in to place once I got started. But I thought this was a neat view to see going up, so we're going to probably just speed this up. Okay, here I was talking about where I thought I lost a bell housing bolt, and my dad went to town to get a new one, and then look, right there it was on the transmission jack. So he kind of wasted a trip and some money buying a few more bell housing bolts. But we got them if we need them, I guess. Alright, in this little segment here, I was trying to show the bell housing bolts way up there, and there's the one there that has to have the ground wire go through it. And I used a magnet, stick it up there, get it through the wire and in and get started. And then lots of extension to get to it. One on the other side was quite difficult. Ended up, I tried to get it in and out, and Aslan tried to get it in and move it around, and Candace came out and even tried to get it in. The problem was the dipstick tube bracket. We couldn't get it to line up on the other side, but we finally got it. So as you can see here, there's about 7,000 extensions being used to get it front and tighten up that bolt, but we got it. Well, here's the setup to get to that. I showed the ratchet and the extensions, and then on the end, the last extension is a wobble extension, and allows the socket to kind of move around. It helps out. Well, here's where I grabbed Aslan to come out. She was working on a project inside the house, but I had her come out to see if she could fit her smaller hands up in there and get the bracket from the dipstick tube moved down and around. She could reach it just fine. Just did not have quite enough strength to move it down as much as we need to. So after her attempt for several minutes, we called in reinforcements and had Candace come out and give it a shot. Well, here's where Candace comes out to give it a shot, and she uses a few different tools and methods, and ends up getting the bracket lined up pretty close to where it needs to be. And then when she decides to head back in to the house to see what's going on with the projects in there, I get the bolt in immediately after she leaves the shop. So let's see what she does. Well, here I was talking about how I wasn't recording. You guys missed it, how I hit myself in the head with my electric ratchet. The battery part hit me right there, right above the eye, and it kind of hurts. So be careful when you're using these things. Alright, now we're putting in torque converter bolts. And I was discussing the flywheel turning tool. If you don't have one of those, you probably should get one. It's way easier than using a screwdriver. So get them lined up just the way you want. Get those bolts in, and you're good to go. And to end things off here, I was talking about what was left. We got to hook up 12 volts power to the transmission per the transmission guy for the torque converter lockup, and then hook up the shifter. And once the shifter's connected down there, we'll try to find one of my drive shafts. I got two of them laid around somewhere. They're not in the shop, so I think they must be in the garage. So we'll find those and see if we can get those put in. Of course, don't forget your shop sales. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.